welcome back to another episode of Vintage Game Finder. I'm Neesmons07. You should know that by now, especially if you subscribe. And if you haven't, please do me a favor and go ahead and subscribe. I like to think it's a okay show. It's not too bad, it's not too good, but like everything else in life, we're in constant evolution. So I'm hoping to make the episodes a little bit more entertaining for you guys, and as well as a little bit more informative. But like always, feel free to comment in the comment section, because I like to think, even at my age, I learn something new every day, and that's the best way to look at it. Especially in this hobby, there's a lot of tidbits and trivia and stuff a lot of people never knew before. So I'm constantly learning, and that's a good thing. So I embrace it. But another week in the books. Very happy to say I got. It's not a huge lot like it was in the last video, but I'm still content that I picked up certain games that I was actively seeking in the wild that were eluding me, and I managed to go ahead and pick them up, so I was pretty happy about that. So let's go ahead and get started with what we received in the mail today. Okay, first package we picked up is from Mario, and he is from, let me see if I can read this cursive here, Sneedy Ferry, North Carolina. Mario is, I met off of one of the Facebook groups. Really cool guy. Serious Sega collector. So if you're watching Mario, like to say thank you. Shout out to you and all the retro gamers out there in North Carolina. It is on my bucket list. I got family over there in Asheville, so I'm hoping eventually I can make a road trip up there and see what the flea markets are like and what the garage sale scene is like. So that would be awesome to do eventually. But this is what he went ahead and mailed to me for a trade. I don't recall what it was. I think it was for a Sonic CD case manual and the little buffer. This is what he gave me in exchange. He got X-Men for the Sega Genesis. You can see that, or the glare is pretty bad, but yeah, that's it. And that was complete, and the label's in pretty awesome shape. This game, when it came out, it looked so amazing to me. So I picked it up, and eventually, you know, me being a kid and always wanting the new stuff, I traded it away, and I was looking for this one, and because I have part 2, but it's loose and the label's pretty beat up, but it's still cool to have. So the difficulty I definitely recall, but it's still good to have. I didn't have it in the collection, so happy to have it now. Thanks again, Mario. And on top of that, he went ahead and threw this in for me too, which is another game I was actively seeking, not primarily for me, but of course for my kids. And that is Disney's Little Mermaid for the Sega Genesis. It was loose, which is awesome. All I really care about is the label. As long as it's not that discolored or faded or anything like that, I'm happy. So I can always pick up a clamshell in the aftermarket or off a sports game that really isn't worth anything. So thanks again, Mario. I appreciate it, man. Next we have another package. This one is from George, and he is from Tucson, Arizona. George, if you're watching, thank you. I appreciate it very much. I'm trying to expand my Sega Saturn collection, and I think it's not too bad, especially from that one video you guys saw of the Sega Saturn lot that I picked up. But now I'm going region free. If it's PAL, if it's a Japanese import, which would be this game in this case, of course, is the King of Fighters 96 for the Sega Saturn. no back print, but the manual and the game are intact, and I'm very happy to have it. The only situation that I came across was the import cartridge that I have doesn't allow this game to operate, and that's, I believe, because this is one of those RAM cart games that needs 4 or 8 megs or something like that. But I am working on acquiring Action Replay Plus, and from what I'm told, that would go ahead and take care of that problem for me. So George, thank you very much. I am big on fighting games, especially on the Sega Saturn. If you don't know much about the Sega Saturn, I will tell you the Sega Saturn is the console to have if you're into fighting games, especially from SNK, from Capcom. Capcom and Sega had a really good relationship in the 90s and early 2000s, and the Dreamcast can attest to that, and of course the Saturn can as well. So anytime I can pick up a game like that, even if it's a Japanese import, I'm very happy to have it. So after that, we're out of the mail game, and I have some local pickups here from a couple friends. We had a meetup, I don't know, maybe two and a half weeks ago, and on top of getting a Wii console, I actually got a couple games as well. So this is the console I got from Armando. Armando, what's up? Thank you very much. The kids love the Wii, of course. He also hooked me up with a copy of Surf's Up on the PS2. Not a game I was actively looking for, but you know, when you have kids, you like to give them diversity, especially what they play. It can be Barbie and Dora and Disney princess games all the time, so I like to mix it up for them, and I'm hoping they like this game. They like the movie, but I don't know if they're gonna like the game. If not, I keep it anyways, just to see if I like it. So I got that. Also had a couple games burned for me for the Dreamcast. I used to be on the fence on it, and then there was a certain point where I didn't care. I'd take them all burned if I could for the Dreamcast. But the games that I am looking for in the wild that I can get, at least this would buy me some time in between getting them, so I can actually play them. And one of the burn games I got, and that was from my good friend Chris. Chris, if you're watching, thank you. It's Capcom versus SNK. Great game. I had this brand new, but unfortunately I traded. I was one of the casualties at GameStop, like many of us are, where we go ahead and we see a new system we like and we want, but we can't actually save up enough money to go ahead and buy it right then and there. So I used my trade equity, and in my case, it was my Dreamcast, 4 controllers, and about 25 games, and Capcom vs. SNK was one of those games, unfortunately, and I still kick myself in the ass about doing that, because all I really bought was a PS2 and Max Payne. I mean, not knocking Max Payne. Max Payne is a great game, great series overall, but I should have kept what I had and just kept saving up my money so I could just buy it outright. So we live and learn, folks. I do that every day. I mean, I'm not perfect. I don't pretend to be, but sometimes I definitely get caught slipping. Another one that he managed to burn for me was King of Fighters, and this one that he burned was a 3-in-1. It has King of Fighters 96, 98, and I think 2000, something like that. And those were primarily import games, so he got me that, and he got me Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, which I never got to buy brand new, but because at that point I didn't have the Dreamcast anymore, but I heard nothing but great things about it, and it was one of those games that I gravitated to when I went to the arcades. It's just made a beeline right over there. That one, Virtual Cop, among other games, but that game was fun to play in the arcades, definitely. And Chris also hooked me up with a loose copy of Golden Axe 2, which I was looking for. I love Golden Axe. It's a great series. If you want to put it in comparison to Streets of Rage, the Streets of Rage series is just as good, if not better. It's just it all comes down to a matter of taste. I prefer Streets of Rage series because, mainly due to the soundtrack, it just went along. It syncs so beautifully together with the gameplay. It just, the overall experience was more enjoyable. But you cannot discount Golden Axe. And if you are collecting for the Genesis, these are must-have titles. Definitely the Golden Axe series as well as the Streets of Rage series. So thanks a lot, Chris. Next we'll go to what I picked up from yard sales, as well as a mix of stuff I picked up off of Facebook. I really don't have any bias. I just go out there and get my hands dirty. You know what I'm saying? Like, I go to places, I talk to people, and that's really an important part of the hobby is to put yourself out there, to go ahead and network, and the possibilities of you finding somebody that has those retro games or the games you're looking for, they just expand immensely when you go ahead and market yourself. Like, hey, you know, you don't have video games, that's fine, but I'm pretty sure you know somebody that does. So if you can, go ahead and pass the word out for me. Here's my number. And I like to say you have about a 65% chance. Of course, this is not a fact, but for me, I can only talk about my personal experience. About 65% of the time, I end up getting a call back or some kind of a feedback. Hey, I know this guy over here, or this guy I work with has something, and that's where the possibilities of you picking up stuff just get better and better. Well, of course, the manners come into play as well. So let me shut the hell up and just start showing you the games. This is off of a lady off of Facebook. She told me she sold these games, but then a couple days later, I get a call back and she tells me, yeah, I just found these. Do you still want them? I'm like, yeah, sure. What do you want from them? A couple bucks a piece. Okay, why not? So she gave me, let me see what it was. Okay, this is what it was. I got a copy of Top Gun on the NES. This makes my second copy, so I will be passing this along. Then I got a loose copy of The Incredible Hulk. Two reasons I picked this up. I love Incredible Hulk. Two, developed by Sega. Gotta show love to Sega, so I went ahead and picked this up. And if I recall, it got pretty decent reviews, so I'm happy to pick this up. Also, I have 3 Pokemon games. 2 of them being the gold version. But turns out these games were kid tested, and they were kid tested pretty hard. This one looks like took a bath from whiteout. Back is pretty messed up too. And this copy here doesn't even have a label. So I'm on the fence whether to go ahead and get a reproduction label or just leave it as is. The games are tested and clean, and they are functional, so they're good games. But I'm not really after Pokemon, so I will be finding a home for these eventually. And the last Pokemon game I got is Pokemon Yellow Special Pikachu Edition. This one's seen better days, but I will clean it up and it will find a home as well. This other game I paid about $7 for, and the reason I did is I got a friend that's into Donkey Kong, and hopefully I can make a deal with him. And that game is Donkey Kong 64. On the Nintendo 64, of course. Doesn't look good. I'm not a fan of N64. The only games I ever liked on that was WCW versus NWO, Mario Kart, and Killer Instinct, but that's about it. So whenever I pick up 64 games, if the price is right, then I pick them up. If not, I just walk away and I don't think twice about it. Next, I have another copy here of Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. that's gonna find the home. Great game. If you haven't played it, do yourself a favor and pick it up. It's a really great game. They managed to put a graphics card, if I'm not mistaken, or a chip, and it just, at first glance, you kind of in disbelief that's a Super Nintendo game, but it's a really great game. Played through it a handful of times, and every time it's just pure enjoyment playing this game. So next, I got some more games, of course. I'm not gonna. Oh, the last one I have kind of a little story about, but I'll leave that for last. Next, I got some loose games here. I have a Wario World on the GameCube. Next, I have Destruction Derby for the PlayStation 1. A must-have PlayStation, especially the second one. The second one I enjoyed a lot more because the soundtrack was a lot better. But Destruction Derby was a great series, and I wish they brought it back. But I guess there's maybe rights issues that come into play with that. Next, I have some more PlayStation games. These are the games that I go into pawn shops and I find still in the CD section of the stores, and that's usually where I go when I first go in a pawn shop. Ask for the CDs. Do you have CDs for sale? Do you have DVDs? Go there first and check out what they have, and more often than not, you will find some games in there. And in my case, I found Cool Borders 2, Namco Museum Volume 1. This one I'm kind of excited to have, of course, and excited to play. I got a friend that told me that this game has similarities with WCW versus NWO, and that game is WCW versus the World for PS1. And the last pickup I have is, from that pawn shop, is the official US PlayStation March 2002 demo disc. I think these came in magazines. Maybe I'm mistaken though. If you know, please let me know in the comment section, because I am picking a lot of those up, and I don't know if they have any value or there is a special niche in the hobby for that. But like I said, hit me up in the comment section. Let me know. And I got another GameCube pickup that I got for a couple bucks, and I don't remember this cartoon. This might be after I stopped watching cartoons for a while. And that is The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy for the Nintendo GameCube. And let's see if it's complete. Nope, it's not. Disc only. But it does come with some... I don't even want to know what that is. It looks like fucking roach shit. But I gotta clean that up. And last but not least, this game has a story. This particular cartridge. There was a retro shop that opened up in my area maybe about 6 months ago, and the guy just had like weird hours. He would open maybe 1 or 2 times a week. Okay, it got to the point where I thought it was a front for some like criminal activity or something like that. That's how suspect it was. I mean, I don't know, somehow managed to get in there once or twice, and I don't know, it's just, I wish the guy was open more, because he had a decent selection, and one of those games was this one, Ninja Gaiden. And the reason this label looks the way it does is because he had it in the storefront window, and every time that I went over there and I saw that game, and I felt so bad for it. It's why would you do that? I mean, I'd see you putting a sports game on the storefront window, and I wouldn't bat an eye, I wouldn't care, but a game like this, why? You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and fast forward to maybe about a week and a half ago. I go to this other place that sells just a bevy of everything, and the guy, it's one of those places that you look at the banner, says store liquidation sale, and that's just a tactic by most businesses to get you in the door. And it intrigued me, I gotta say. So I walked in, and there's just shelves of games, rows, Nintendo, NES, Genesis, Super NES, GameCube, Xbox. A pretty decent selection. I had accessories as well, but when I saw this game, I knew that the guy that had that store, first of all, he went out of business, but then I'm pretty sure he sold his inventory and he sold it to that guy, which isn't a bad thing, because I got to find this game, and as soon as I saw it, I bought it, because games like this, especially this one, they deserve better, and they deserve a good home, and I have no problem doing that. So the guy wanted $10, and I worked him down to about $5. So it worked out, and I'm pretty happy about that. So that's basically the pickups for this week. Very happy. It's not, like I said, it's not a huge score like I'm used to getting, but like I said, you got good days and you got bad days. But as long as you pick up something, it's not a loss, not in my book at least. So I want to go ahead and thank you for watching again. Please like, comment, subscribe, which is awesome. Pass the word out as well. A lot of people ask me why I'm not making the decision to monetize the channel, and the reason I don't do that is the same reason another good friend of mine doesn't do it either, and that's Straight Geeked Out. I recommend that channel as well if you've never heard of him before. He makes really quality good videos, and of course he knows his retro a lot better than I do, so you may learn a thing or two from him. But the main reason we don't monetize is basically for the love of the hobby. I don't want anybody to question my love of the hobby or my love of video games in general, because first of all, it's not in the business, and second of all, I don't do it to flip. I rarely sell any game that I have, or any console that I have, or any accessory that I have. I like to trade, but like I said, I do it mainly for the love. So if you're not in it for the love, then that's cool. I'm not gonna hate on you, but at the same time, I know your place, and you should know mine. So I'm pretty sure for now, and I'm pretty sure for a pretty long time to come, I'm not gonna monetize. So my exposure is limited because of that, unfortunately. But if I have subscribers like you, viewers like yourself, you could pass the word along, and I'd be very grateful for that. That's about it, guys. I will see you next time, and until then, thank you, God bless, and happy hunting.